In this video, you're gonna see how to use a function that is necessary and always used in Excel. It's called if. It's a conditional function that helps to do a logical test and then give a specific answer or calculation depending on if it's the calculation of the logical is true or false. So in our example here, we have a job rating and we have a salary increase. So I want to calculate the salary increase depending on the job rating. So we're gonna answer to this question here. If the job rating is inferior to 2, then we're gonna add nothing. If it's smaller than 4, then add 5%, else add 10%. So if it's equal to 1, then we're gonna add nothing, it's at 0. If it's 2 or 3, then add a 5%. If it's 4 or 5, then add a 10%. So how are we gonna do this? Using if formula. We're gonna use a if. It's equal if we see in if formula, we have a logical test, a value if it's true and the value if it's false. So by default we have just 2, but here we have 3 conditions, and here we can just have 2 conditions. To do this, it's gonna use a thing that's called a nested if. So it's a if inside a if. So let's do it. So the logical test, if it's this job rating, it's smaller than 2, then I will have a 0. Okay, and if it's more than 2, then I will have 2 cases. So the first one, the logical test, so here it's superior than 2, it's superior or equal to 2. Okay, so here we're gonna just have if it's this and it's smaller than 4, so we're gonna do this and smaller than 4, then we have an increase of 5%. So if it's the salary, multiply by 5%. And if it's not, so it's bigger than 4, so it's the same salary, multiply by 10%. So we close the brackets and we have our enter. What did I do here? Yeah, I forgot another bracket, so it's for the second if here. Okay, so it's for second if and the other one is for first if. So we have our increase. So this one here, because of the job rating is 1, he will not have an increase in his salary. So this is a way of doing it this is how to do it using nested ifs. So nested ifs is a little bit tricky to know where to add the other if. So in the value if true and the value in foreign, depending on your first logical test. In the new versions of Excel, we have a new formula that's called, so let's just have a copy of this here. Copy here. The new formula is called ifs. So what does ifs do? So it's just equal ifs within this. It takes just the logical test and return the value if the logical test is true. So we have our logical test. If it's true, then return the value. If it's not, then you're gonna go to the other logical test and etc. to the last one you're gonna enter. So let's use the ifs. So our logical test is depending on the job rate is G2 is smaller than 2, then you're gonna have nothing. Okay, so it's 0. And if we have our G2 is smaller than 4, then we have an increase of 5%. It's this multiplied by 5%. If we have it more or equal than 4, so this is more equal than 4, then we're gonna have okay, so we're gonna have our sum multiplied by 10%. We close the bracket and we have the same answer here.